Hey guys, so in this video, we will be going to set up the Apache Druid, and we will be connecting that Apache Kafka that we set up in the last video with the Apache Druid, and we will be getting a real-time data stream from that Apache Kafka, and we will be going to apply some transformations as well as like data flattening if possible on that particular data. So to set up that Apache Druid, like in the previous video, I was using that EC2 virtual machine. So I will be going to set up the Druid on that same virtual machine. So let me just log into that virtual machine. So I'm inside this virtual machine, and if I do docker ps, I should be seeing my Kafka up and running. So now let's go to the browser, and here let's search for Apache Druid, the Docker version of that. So for that we have to go to this official repository, GitHub repository of the Apache Druid. So Apache Druid Docker GitHub. So if we go to this repository, here we have this distribution folder. Inside this distribution folder is the official repository of the Apache Druid. Inside this we have a Docker folder, and here we have the Docker compose for setting up the Apache Druid, and we have like the bunch of other Docker files like for building up those Docker images. So we will going to clone this this repository there, and we will going to set up the Apache Druid using this repository. So let me just clone this. Let's see what is here. So let's do git clone. Let's clone this repository here. Okay, now if I see here, I got the repository, this Druid repository. So let's go inside this, and we have to go inside the distribution folder here. So let's go inside this distribution folder directly, and after that we have the folder Docker. If I do ls here, yeah, so this is the docker compose.yaml file. If you want to see, we can see that file from here only. Let's go to here. If you want to have a look on this file, we can see this file here. So this uses Postgres behind the scene, then it uses Zookeeper and one coordinator node and one broker, as well as like there are bunch of images that this Druid uses to have all those services up and running and have the coordination among those services. So we will be going to run the docker compose script here. Docker compose up -d, and let's wait for this to pull all those images and start up all those containers. Okay, great. Let's see the containers. Let's see the services here. So docker compose ps. Yes, so services are up and running, and now we can open the dashboard of this Druid. So the dashboard is accessible on port 888. This one, basically this router container host that UI. So we have to go to this this address. So since I'm on virtual machine, so I'm going to use the public IP followed by the port. But if you are on local machine, then you will be going to use the local host and then this port. So here, if I go to this section, I can copy my IP, my AWS instance ID, and then the port is 4 times 8 for that root. Let's wait. Yeah, so this is loading here, and we can see bunch of tabs here, or these card. So each card is kind of a representing some of the components for this Druid. So basically status gives us those extensions that are like already loaded into this application, and we have data source as well. But let's start by loading the data, loading that Kafka data onto this cluster, basically onto this Druid application. So for this, like, we have to go to this load data section, and here we can see a bunch of connectors here. Like, we can use them to connect all the different sources of data with this Apache Druid. So by default, if you see, we have few of the options available, like Azure Event Hub, and HDFS is also there, but it is not available. Then we have cloud storage, Google Cloud Storage, Azure Data Lake, AWS, Amazon Kinesis, S3 is also there, Kafka is also there. So there are a bunch of options, and even if a few of the options that are not available here, you can go to the Apache Druid website, and there you can find the extensions, all the extensions that are available, and you can pretty much use those extensions. Now we have to so for this whole demonstration, our idea was to load the data from the Kafka to this Druid, but here we can see that this option is like disabled. Like, all the other options, few of the options are available, but this Kafka option is disabled. So this is so now we will try to enable this option. So to enable this, like, I just click on this part, and here it showed me some steps or some instructions, like, which I should follow in order to load this extension. So it is saying that please make sure that this extension is included in the load list, and you can also refer to this link. Let me open this link here, and you can find all of the bunch of extensions that are available. Like, this Avaro extension is there, so that you can load Avaro data format. Azure extensions are there also. Then Google extensions are there. HDFS, we saw that HDFS and Google extensions, like Google services, are disabled here. So you can enable those extensions in the similar way like we are going to enable this Kafka extension. So Kafka is also there. If you see this one, Kafka Druid Kafka indexing service, so we are going to load this extension. So I got this extension name here. Let me just copy this, and we have to put this extension name into the environment file. So if you look at the official repository of this Apache Druid, there we have one environment file, and if we scroll down here, you can see that we have Druid extension load list, and here we have some of the extensions that are already there, but we will be going to add our extension, which is that Kafka extension, so that our this Druid is able to recognize this extension and give us those options to integrate that Kafka with the Druid. So let's go to a terminal here, and let me open that environment file, nano environment, and this is the load list. This is the extension load list, and let me put it here only. Let's put that here. So let me put it here. Great. So the extension is here now. Let's just save this file. Okay, now let me do docker compose down. We have to restart the containers so that this latest configuration is applied. Now we can start the containers up. So docker compose up, is the command that we have to run. So let's wait for them to start up, and this time we should see that the Kafka extension enabled in the Druid dashboard. So let's go to the okay, so now if we go to this Druid page, and if I try to refresh this, yeah, so now you can see that Kafka is active now. This extension is active, and now if I can simply connect my Kafka here, so we have to click on this connect data, and here we have to provide the address of our Bootstrap server. So in our case, we are having only one Kafka broker or the Bootstrap server, so we will going to provide only one. But if you have multiple those things, multiple those Kafka brokers, you can give those addresses separated by comma. So our Kafka is running on by default port these ports. So if I do docker ps, we can see that our Kafka, this is the Kafka that is running on two ports. So the first port that it is using is 29092, and the second port that this is using is 29093. So 29092 can be accessed from the local, I mean from within this application, so within this environment, within this virtual machine. So if I have to run this from this virtual machine, then I could have used this port 29092. And if you carefully look at the previous lecture, there we saw that we were using port number 29092 in those producer and consumer scripts. But since we have to load the data from outside of this virtual machine, then we will be going to use this port 29093. So we have to go to here. Let's copy the IP address, and let's come to this page. Let's put the IP address, and then we have to give the port 29093. Then let's give the temperature, I mean topic as temperature. We are having three topics that we saw in the last video. We were having topics like temperature, humidity, sound, and then flow as well. So for this, like I'm going to start with the temperature topic first. So this will going to load the data from the desktop this particular topic. So the topic is temperature. And now let me click on this apply. So let's wait for the Druid to load the data, some set of data. Yeah, great. So we can see all of the data that our producer script is ingesting into this this particular topic. So we can see that this device parameter, temperature, device ID that we saw in the script, date, time is there, and the device value is also there. So now let's click on parse data, and here we can this gives us an option of like what's our input data format is. So in our case, we have simply the JSON as our date payload. Like we push the JSON data onto the Kafka. But if you see, we have bunch of other options available, like CSV is also there, TSV is also there, Parquet format is there, and Avro is also there. So we have bunch of data, I mean format there. I mean you can choose your required data format, and then we have an option of column flattening. So column flattening is used when you have nested data. Like if I have one JSON format, and that some, let's say some data is present inside that particular JSON object, so I have to flatten that so that it can come up here as a row. So I could have done like this. Let's say I can create one column as output, and let's say so we have options like here path, JQ, or root. So I'm using the path, and then I could have done something like this, dollar and then dot, and then the particular field name which is inside that inside that object. So I could have used that field here. So but in our case that is not available because we are having the flat data already. It is already flattened, so we don't have to do anything with on this part. So I'm going to do cancel. Now click on parts time. Now here what Druid is going to do at this phase is that it is going to take that time and basically replace that column with in its own format. So it basically this time Druid is trying to create a mapping of that date time with its own time format that it uses for indexing and segmenting as well. That we'll see in the coming steps. So now we have an option to transform. So let's go here, and now if we have to do some transformation there. Now let's say if we want to have some transformation, for example, for the simplicity of this, I can show this transformation. Let's say, okay, so what we can do is we are already having this data as a temperature data now, and that the data that we are getting is, let's assume that the data we are getting in the degrees Celsius format. Now what the requirement is, let's say the requirement here is that we need one more column that should have the Fahrenheit values. Means these degree values should be converted to Fahrenheit values. So what we can do is we can create a column here. Let me call it as temp height underscore f, basically representing the Fahrenheit values, and then we can put that expression here, that the logic that we want to apply. So let's try to do that. Let's go to here. I have to look for the formula of converting the Celsius to Fahrenheit. So let's look the formula. Celsius to Fahrenheit formula, and if I go to any random website, I should be seeing the so I need the Fahrenheit. Okay, this formula is sufficient for me. I can use this. So if I go here, first we have to take this value like, on which we want to. So this is already having the Celsius values. So I'm going to use this device, this column device value, and then let me paste what I got from there. This should be multiply, and here I should have brackets. Seems fine to me. Now let's try to do apply here. Great, we can see that the temperature here is now available in the Fahrenheit as well. And if I go to internet here, let me just search the temperature on, let's just verify this. So let's just look the Fahrenheit value of 37 degrees Celsius. So if I put 37 here, I'm getting 98.6. So if I look here, so I'm getting 98. So I think this is taking the decimal values only, not the floating point numbers. So but that's like I mean we are good with this as well. Now we can do the filter as well, but for this part, like I'm removing this transformation, I don't need this. So I'm simply going to click this and delete this part. So now I don't need the transformation. Filtration is there. So filtration you can use, like if you want to filter some data. Let's say I want to have data whose values is, where this device value is greater than 25 or 20. So I want to have all those records whose where the data value is greater than 25 or 20. We can put the filter here as well. Those filters can be put here, but I'm skipping that as of now. We can go to create schema, and here we have rollups column. So this rollups is kind of used for aggregations or basically for indexing as well. So you don't have to worry on this rollup part. Maybe we will cover up this in some later videos. But now let's go to the partitioning as well. So partitioning we have, and here we have to define the segment. Like segment is kind of frequency over which our partition should be created. So let's say I want to have an hourly partition for like this means that every hour a new partition is going to be created. And then we have a secondary partitioning as well, like the maximum number of rows this one particular partition can have. So now let's go to tune. This seems to be fine. I'm going to use the earliest offset here. Just click on true, publish, and next go to edit spec, and then submit this. So this has been submitted. Now we can go to the ingestion tab, let's just refresh this. So we have one data source, that is that from Kafka, and we are receiving the data from this topic, which is the temperature. This is already running. If we go to the data source, we should be seeing the data source that is already there, and it shows me that I have two segments. Why I have two segments? Because I mean, we are running the setup, I mean, from more than an hour, so that's why like it automatically created the two segments. So now if I kind of refresh here, I can see the number of rows each segment has, and then I can go to the services. So services has nothing to do with this. This is basically the Druid services that are up and there in the system. So we have this peon service coordinator, router service, all these services are there. And then this is the query tab. So if I go to this query tab, we should be seeing that our table that we kind of a table that we created, and we can run SQL queries here. So if I click on this, I can run the SQL queries here. See, you can just click on this, it will prompt you some of the basic queries here. So you click on any of the query that you need, click on the query, and you can just run that query from here. So you can see I'm getting the data here. Great. So if you want to see more than 100 rows, I mean, you can do that, and you can go to the next this as well. So this is it for I mean, this was the pretty much for the Druid part, but let's do one thing. Let's load the other topics as well. So I'm going to, I mean, the other topics that we have in the system is humidity topic and the sound topic and the flow topic as well. So let's go to the load, and you can start again from the fresh configuration, or you can use the older specification that we just created. I mean, so it has kind of saved those configurations so that we can reuse them. So I'm going to use this step, I mean, which will make my task pretty much easy. So I'm going to click on this, and here it has pre-filled the previous details, just that I have to change the topic. So this time I'm going to use the humidity topic, humidity, and I can just apply this. So we have to wait so that this loads the data from this particular topic. Okay, now, yeah, great. So we can see we got the data from the humidity topic as well. Now same thing we have to do, just next. So our input format is JSON, so we don't have to worry on this part. Parts. And by the way, like if in any point of time, like you feel that in like with any particular step you are not getting much details, then in each step you will be going to see one link that is already there. I mean, for this, let's say for this this particular phase, we have this link, so you can go to this link and get the more details. So let's go to transform, let's go to filter, and let's see the filtering as well here. Like let's say I want to filter the data that is greater than what, greater than 60, because we have some records that are less than 60, like this 51 record, 55 record. Or let's take a subset. Let's do one thing, let's take all the records that are in the range of 60 to 75. Let's do this thing. So you can get the filters from this section. You can click on this link. So let's see the filters that are available. You can see, I mean, pretty much filters, like you can just put the details and you should be good to go. So the filter that we are interested in is kind of a range type of filter, because we want the values in some range, in the range of 60 to 75. So if you scroll down, like you can do filtering kind of this type of filtering. Like this is the in type of filter, where we are checking for this particular column, outlaw that it should have only these type of values. So in our case, we need some kind of bound filter. Basically, we have some boundary condition that the value should lie between these boundary conditions. So we are going to use this one, this filter, boundary filter, and we have one sample here. So let's do one thing. Let's just copy this and let's try to modify this here. So I'm going to paste it here. So now the column on which we want to apply this is this device value column. So here I have to put that in this dimension key pair, I have to put the value as device value. Okay, so this should be, we should be capital device value, yeah. And now we kind of need a lower, so lower should be 60 and the higher should be 75. Now if I apply this here, you can see that we are getting only those records that are in the range of 60 to 75. Now click on configure schema, click on partition, let's choose the hourly partition, click on tune. I mean, this is also fine. Here just make sure to update this device source name, because else it will be going to override the previous configuration that we already stored for the temperature topic. So I'm going to change the name of this data source to humidity. Okay, click on edit specs, click on submit. Yeah, so here we have this source as well, and now right now this is in pending state. Let's try to refresh and see the state. Yeah, so this is running as well. Data source, we can see all of the data source that are available, and then segment is fine. Now let's go to query. So let me just remove this, and here now you can see that I have humidity as well. So let's try to run the select star from humidity, the simple query, and you can see all the data that we have. And note here that we are getting the data only that is based on the filter that we applied. So we applied for the filter, I mean, we should get only those values that are in the range of 60 to 75. See, if I show you, if I just increase the number of rows, you can see we have, I mean, we don't have any value which is kind of greater than 75 or less than 60. You can see that we have one value which is 75 because it matches the boundary condition, and we have one value with 60 as a value, which is the lower boundary condition, but we don't have value exceeding these boundary condition. Similarly, let's do the same thing for the other topic as well, just using the same specifications. The topic is sound. Click on apply. Let's wait. Yeah, we got the data. Click on parts time. This is fine. Next, we don't want to apply any kind of filtering here. Yes, we don't need any filtering is the next step. We don't need any filtering here. Let's remove this filtering. Click on this column and you can delete this filtering. Click here, partition, early partition is fine. Next, and here let's change the source name as well. So the source name is sound. Click on edit, submit. Great. We can see the sound is also there. This data source is also there. It is also running. And if we go to query, we should be seeing sound here as well. Let's, yeah, sound is also here. Let me just remove this. Let's see what data we have in the sound. Great. So in a similar way, like you can do multiple filtering and transformations as well. You can do the transformations as well. So filtering, for the filtering, you can refer to this link. I mean, there is interval filtering, boundary filtering, all these I mean dimensions are there. Kind of filtering are there. You can do all kind of filtering where you are verifying the value should be within this, or the value should be this or this kind of filtering. So I mean, you can refer to this link for the on the filtering part as well. So now we have pretty much covered all that was the intention of this video. Like we loaded the data from the Kafka to this Apache Druid, and then we created segments and data sources, all these, and we tried to query the data as well. And we tried to do some on-the-fly filtering as well as the transformations. So this was pretty much it for this video. And in the next video, we will be going to connect this Apache Druid with the Redash, and there we will going to generate some reports for the visualization purpose. That's all for this video. I will see you in the next one.